Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 283. I'm hopeful because, why am I hopeful as a Roman Catholic? Well, I'm hopeful because hell shall never prevail over his church. Now, looking at what's going on in the world today, you'd look at it and you'd be like, holy cow, the church is under attack from all sorts of sides, both outside and within the church. New World Order's taking over. The Amazon Sit-On in Rome right now. They're trying to change all sorts of doctrinal positions of the church. They have pagan statues on altars that some men threw into not the Thames River, the Tiber River in Rome, which is kind of brought a little smile on my face. But all that being said, like, how the heck could you still be hopeful today? Well, let me bring you back to the crucifixion. So you had the first 12 apostles. Out of the first 12 apostles, and this is the early church, right? So Christ taps Peter on the shoulder, said, "You're the rock I'm going to build my church upon," and there are 12 apostles, and he's trying to form his church. Well, the one he tapped to be the leader of the church denied him 3 times. Another one, Judas, he turned him in for death. And then the next 10, they fled out of fear. Like, the whole church just disappeared and it, like, went asunder. If they were as pessimistic as we are about the church today, there would have been no church. But they regrouped, they got together, they huddled down and figured it out and created a church, the Roman Catholic Church, and Christendom now has a story to tell. If we're not hopeful, then the church is going to fall apart. And if church falls apart, who the heck's going to be inside of the church to duke it out to actually create a church when it falls apart? So we shouldn't run from the church. We shouldn't be all pessimistic and angry all the time. We should be hopeful. And I would remind anybody out there that's overly pessimistic about the church, which there's a lot of you out there, a lot of you. Think about the Blessed Virgin Mary. Here's, the Blessed Mother. She gave birth to the Lord. She was like the initial disciple of her son, the Lord Jesus Christ. And she sat at the foot of the cross as her son perished on the cross and died for the world. And she allowed it to happen. And she remained hopeful the entire time because the Blessed Virgin Mary was pure virtue. And 3 of the theological virtues are faith, hope, and love. And she was always hopeful. She always had faith, and she always had great love. And she watched her son perish on the cross, which was the beginning of the church. And so if the Blessed Mother could be hopeful at that point, I mean, she's pure, and she knows what's in store for people because, she knew what the Lord asked her to do, and she had perfect faith. If she was hopeful at that point in time, don't you think we should be a little hopeful today? I mean, all these people that are pessimistic about the church and how horrible it is, and the devil's going to prevail, and the Lord will never win, and we need to be angry, mad, and ticked off at everybody. What would you have been doing at the foot of the cross if you were next to the Blessed Mother? Would you have been hopeful watching Jesus die? Or would you have been mad, angry, ticked off, upset, perhaps, assaulting somebody, or, whatever else? Or would you have been like the Blessed Mother? And I think she's a great role model for everybody. I mean, it was her son that perished, and she remained hopeful. And so put that in your brain and think about it a little bit. Do you really have any reason to be unhopeful if the Blessed Mother was hopeful at that point in time? The answer is no. Okay, there's always going to be trials and tribulations and difficulties in the church. There always will be, no matter what, because humankind is what humankind is. But the Lord will prevail. And so I just encourage everybody to think about that a little bit, kneel down, pray about it, go in front of the Eucharist. But by the way, the hope comes from you. The hope comes from you purifying yourself, becoming a better person, and then going into this world and being a beacon of light. Not going into this world and being like depressed and doty and despairing, because that's not going to help anybody, I promise. It's not going to do any good. And so this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe, get the Mass, and pray the daily rosary. God bless you all. Share with your friends.